So we got a report yesterday that rival GMs believe that either Josh Giddey or Coby White will not be on the team next year. And this report made me laugh, man, because this is other front offices talking. These are other GMs talking. And the thing with other GMs are they operate from a point of logic. And logic would dictate that, yeah, Josh Giddey and Coby White do not fit as a backcourt if your goal is to win. You can't win in the modern NBA if you have two negative defenders sharing your backcourt. It's just, we've seen it in the playoffs, man. How many times have we seen these guards get exposed in the playoffs? I mean, we even saw Drew Holiday getting exposed in that Knicks Celtics series, and he's a good defender. He's just a little bit older now. So logic would dictate that, yeah, these two cannot be your backcourt if your goal is to win. And by all indications, the Bulls' goal is to always win or at least be competitive. But the thing when you're talking about the Bulls front office is they do not operate from a point of logic. If they did, logic would dictate that you can't win with a big like Nikola Vucevic as your starting center. Once again, in the playoffs, we see time and time again, these starting centers, these traffic cones on defense, they get played off the court. Nikola Vucevic is the worst defensive center in the NBA, and the Bulls keep trotting him out there. They keep extending him. They keep paying him. He might be a Bull for life. Logic would dictate that once Lonzo Ball goes down, maybe you should pivot off of those teams and sell those assets while their value is still high. Bulls didn't do that. Their front office didn't do that. They held on to Caruso as long as possible, held on to DeRozan as long as possible, Zach LaVine as long as possible, Vucevic as long as possible. The list goes on. Logic would dictate that if you take a guy 4th overall and he underperforms his whole career and he reaches restricted free agency, maybe you should let him see what his market is before you offer him a new contract. Chicago Bulls didn't do that. They went out, they paid Patrick Williams $18 million guaranteed with a player option in that last year. Logic would dictate that if you have one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA and you are dealing with a team in the OKC Thunder who are in a point where they have a young player that they don't want to pay and they need a piece like Caruso to get over the hump, logic would dictate you can hold out in those negotiations till they throw a draft pick in there. Chicago Bulls didn't do that. So time and time again, we have seen this front office does not operate from a point of logic. So this report from rival GMs that they expect Josh Giddey or Coby White, one of the two, to not be on the team next year, yeah, that would probably make sense. It would probably make sense. It'd be very logical for the Chicago Bulls to trade Coby White this offseason because he really is their only trade asset at this point. But this front office does not deal from a point of logic. So chances are we are in for a season with Josh Giddey and Coby White as our backcourt. And logic would dictate, based on what the Bulls have done in the past, they're probably going to extend both of them and have a very high-priced, very bad backcourt for the next few years.